Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Coronicos here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at my top 10 favorite guns from Season of the Worthy. Now, obviously, I have not actually gotten all the different weapons from Season of the Worthy. There are 23 different weapons specifically for this season, but from what we can see on MyGG, from the API, we can see the different perk options, all the statistics. I can give you a good idea of which weapons are going to be the ones you're going to want to chase, especially with new perks coming out, new types of weapons, new exotics, and just in general things that fit categories that haven't really been fit before. We're going to be talking about my 10 favorite in this video. Oh hey, we're halfway through the month, and you know what that means. That means we're doing a giveaway. So if you want to win yourself an ASTRAL A40 headset, blue microphone product, or a $20 gift code to the Control Freak store, check out the link in the description down below. Pretty straightforward stuff like follow the Twitter, follow the Twitch. It is free to enter. And of course, these giveaways are for you guys who do support me, so thank you so much for continuing to watch my videos and enjoy. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. These 10 guns are not in any particular order. I'm just going to be going through them in the order that I wrote them down. Coming up at number 1, we have Tommy's Matchbook, which is a 72 RPM solar exotic assault rifle. It can be found from the season pass at level 1 for the paid track and level 35 for the free track. What makes this amazing is firstly, it can do double damage, part of its special exotic perk, where as you hold down the trigger, you start to damage yourself, but you cannot kill yourself with it, and you start to do double damage for the rest of the bullets and as you continue to hold the trigger down. On top of that, it has a 100-round magazine. It looks like a Tommy gun. It has great stats for a 720 RPM auto rifle, literally better stability, handling, and range by a pretty significant amount than other 720s. This weapon is definitely something you're gonna have to take a look at, or at the very least try out, because it's something that in PvE is gonna have very good DPS for a primary ammo weapon, something that you could potentially use with another primary ammo weapon and be able to offset that special ammo DPS, and in PvP, surprising amounts of time to kill. You may surprise a lot of enemies, but probably is not a Trials of Osiris kind of weapon. Coming up at number 2, we have the Fourth Horseman, which is a quad barrel 100 RPM arc shotgun that we've seen in a few different trailers. And it's a bit of a weird one. Basically, it's a full auto shotgun, 4 shots in a tube, shoots very fast, and will shoot faster with each consecutive shot, as well as doing more damage and more spread. So it's from what it seems like, is in PvE, it will be a very good burst DPS kind of weapon. And honestly, you say quad barrel anything, and I'm like, I'm in, whatever it is, I don't care. Shotgun, rocket, let's do it. Moving on to number 3 in this countdown, we have Dire Promise, a 150 RPM kinetic hand cannon. Some other of its type are going to be Midnight Coup and Spare Rations, beloved by the community, and this is going to be another version. Now, in my opinion, the perk loadout for this is not the best. It's a decent loadout of possible perks. You can see on screen now my recommended set of perks for either PvP or PvE, and if you take a direct comparison of Dire Promise to Midnight Coup, you can see that has a little bit more range and stability, but a little bit worse handling, reload, and aim assistance, and in my opinion, the possible perks on the Midnight Coup, being the Outlaw and Rampage, are just significantly better than anything the Dire Promise can offer. But Dire Promise is going to be a great alternative if you like the recoil pattern or you like something different in your loadout. Coming up at number 4, we have the Astral Horizon 55 RPM aggressive frame kinetic shotgun, which is a direct comparison to the Imperial Decree, or a somewhat direct comparison to the Mindbender's Ambition, with some pretty good perks like Slide Shot Quick Draw, opening shot, and then finally Celerity, a new perk with Season of the Worthy that gives you a bunch of really good bonuses when you're the last living member of the fire team. So this is going to be specifically very good for elimination, survival, specifically for Trials of Osiris. Coming up at number 5 in this top 10 countdown, we have the Eye of Soul 90 RPM kinetic sniper rifle, yet another weapon from the Trials of Osiris drops with some pretty crazy perks on it, including things like Snapshot and Celerity, a perk, as I mentioned on the previous one, is that gives you increased target acquisition, handling, reload speed, and flinch resistance while the last living member of your fire team, which in Trials of Osiris can be pretty significant. And because of the fact that it is a kinetic 90 RPM sniper rifle, it is a great alternative to using Beloved, the kinetic version of Beloved, with the same amount of aim assistance at 68. This is going to be a great kinetic version. Coming up at number 6 in this top 10, we have the Summoner 600 RPM solar auto rifle. Now, in general, I would like to say auto rifles have been kind of running rampant in the Crucible of late, ever since the patch that buffed auto rifles across across the board for the Season of the Worthy, and these summoners seems like a great legendary alternative to Hardlight and Suros, which seem to be dominating. If you look at the perk spread, you can see a lot of great options, including high caliber rounds, light mags, and moment moving target, Celerity Rampage. Like I mentioned before, Celerity, great perk for Trials of Osiris. Moving on to number 7, we have the 7th Seraph. I didn't even realize it was 7 at 7, but 7th Seraph CQC 12, 80 RPM solar shotgun. Now, it's not often people give a lot of praise to lightweight shotguns, but in my opinion, lightweight shotguns have kind of been on the rise. Not only in PvE are they very high DPS, but in PvP they've been seeing a bit more use because of their speed advantage of lightweight. And of course, they're just kind of middle ground of RPM versus range. Now, as far as the perks go, this weapon has a pretty great perk spread for both PvP and PvE. For the PvP side of things, you have the choice of Slide Shot, Quick Draw in column 3, and Snapshot in column 4. And for PvE, the 4th column, change that out for Trench Barrel, the only current lightweight shotgun with Trench Barrel. I can't wait to see what kind of DPS that thing can output. Moving on to number 8 on this top 10, we have the Interference 6 120 RPM Arc Grenade Launcher. Now this one actually kind of took me by surprise because it actually has some pretty great potential. First of all, I consider this to be more of a PvE focused grenade launcher because of a couple different reasons. First of all, if you can get Spike Grenade, it increases the damage very nicely. Secondly, if you can get Field Prep, that increases the reserves for it, which is a PvE perk. And thirdly, it has the option between Full Court or Swashbuckler. Swashbuckler being an interesting perk, allowing you to get up to 33% more damage. If you can just get like one punch kill before you start to DPS on something, that's going to be some pretty significant damage versus Full Court, which is a 25% increase at the farthest range. Now, for the most part, grenade launchers haven't really been DPS kings for quite a few seasons, but out of all the different grenade launcher options, this seems like a really nice one, and it is going to be a new one. Coming up at number 9, we have the Tomorrow's Answer 15 RPM Void Rocket Launchers. Now, I said in one of my previous videos, the 15 RPM high impact frame rocket launchers are my favorite rocket launchers because of the fact that they have high blast radius and high handling, which are some of the, in my opinion, best parts of a rocket launcher. Being able to very quickly raise the rocket and fire while in the air, being able to have a huge blast radius, and just combine that with some perks that offset the lack of velocity, like tracking rounds or rangefinder, will make this thing an absolute beast. And one last thing, if you paint this all gold, it is almost entirely a single brick of gold, and I think that that's just really cool. And finally, coming up at number 10 in this top 10 countdown, we have the Honor's Edge Adaptive Frame Arc Sword. Now, this is the only sword that's come out with the new DLC. There's been a couple other swords that have undergone a few different changes to go in line with the new system, but the new system of swords is a bit weird, and this sword has some pretty unique properties that make it very good for that. So the way the swords have been changed in a nutshell is that blocking does not consume ammo, instead it consumes like ability energy. You can pretend like when you're holding a sword, your melee ability is that sword's melee ability energy. You can spend that on a heavy attack that slowly recharges over a couple seconds, or you can spend that blocking, and as you block shots, it ticks it down even faster, and there's different perks to make it charge faster or resist more, or for example, Enduring Guard or Infinite Guard, allowing you to hold that thing in there forever. Only attacking will actually use the sword ammo. And with this new system and this sword having Enduring Guard and a cool perk called Energy Transfer that allows you to get class ability energy just from blocking shots, you can use this with some pretty interesting builds if you need a lot of class energy for those particular builds. Combine that with counterattack or flash counter, which has to do with blocking, you can also get some pretty cool bonuses. Now, I can't say a specific build that I would probably use this every time, but it sounds interesting, and I like the way they've gone with this new sword system, albeit it's a bit confusing. And that's going to be pretty much it. That is going to be my top 10 weapons that I'm looking forward to and I think are going to be good weapons for Season of the Worthy. Let me know in the comments down below if there's a weapon you think that I missed or overlooked for some reason, and make sure you specifically talk about its stats and its perks and how it compares to other weapons that we've had in the past, because that was the focus of this video, talking about weapons that may be a better version, an alternate version, something we haven't seen before with some new perks. So please let me know, because I am a nerd, I play lots of Destiny, and I want to know what weapons I need to go and get. But that's it. Hope you guys did enjoy. Of course, my name's been Iconic, and I will see you guys on the next one.